Days of Our Lives. The return of Owen Kent. Stephanie Johnson's nightmare comes back to haunt her. A dangerous man from the past threatens to destroy everything Stephanie has built. For years, Stephanie Johnson has worked hard to build a new life in Salem. She's become a successful author, establishing herself as a talented writer in the literary world. But her peace of mind is about to be shattered. A terrifying figure from her past, Simeone, she hoped would remain locked away for a virus, returning to Salem with dangerous intentions. Owen Kent, a man from Stephanie's darkest memories, is coming back, and all evidence suggests he's the mysterious stalker who has been terrorizing her for weeks. The confirmation of Wes Ramsey's return to Days of Our Lives has sent shockwaves through the show's community. Ramsey, who originally played Owen Kent back in 2009, appeared in nearly 20 episodes during his first stint on the show. Now, almost 2 decades later, he's being brought back to reprise this sinister role. And based on the current storyline unfolding in Salem, it appears his return will be nothing short of catastrophic. The stalking campaign intensifies. Owen is revealed as the true threat. For quite some time now, Stephanie has been the target of a mysterious stalker. The threatening behavior began subtly but has escalated dramatically, leaving everyone in Salem searching for answers. There have been strange letters, creepy, and settling messages that sent chills down Stephanie's spine. There was the terrifying incident at the hotel during her recent book tour, where she realized someone had been following her, watching her every move. Then came the discovery that someone wearing black gloves had been lurking in the shadows, observing her without her knowledge. As the investigations continued, suspicion fell on various people. Jeremy was initially believed to be the culprit, and many in Salem were quick to blame him for the harassment. However, new evidence has begun to emerge, painting a very different picture. The person behind the black gloves, the threatening letters, and the sinister surveillance appears to be none other than Owen Kent himself. But Owen's crimes don't end with simple stalking. There's strong evidence suggesting that Owen was also responsible for poisoning Alex Kyriakis' soda, chilling act that could have ended in tragedy. This wasn't Owen's first attempt at violence either. During the Halloween night incident, Owen actually tried to stab Alex, but Alex managed to escape with only his jacket being cut. Owen clearly wanted Alex out of the picture, and for a very specific reason, to remove the competition for Stephanie's affection. The kidnapping. Stephanie vanishes, and the truth finally emerges. The situation reached a terrifying climax when Stephanie went missing. She was kidnapped by someone, and the entire Johnson family launched a desperate search to find her. Steve Johnson, Stephanie's devoted father, took matters into his own hands, determined to locate his daughter. During his search, Steve encountered a man wearing a black hoodie. Simeone, he initially believed to be Jeremy. The assumption seemed reasonable at the time, especially given Jeremy's troubled history. However, when the identity of the actual kidnapper was finally revealed, it shocked everyone. The man in the black hoodie wasn't Jeremy at all. It was Owen Kent. Steve's discovery that Owen, not Jeremy, was responsible for Stephanie's kidnapping changes everything. Jeremy, who has been working hard to turn his life around and prove that he's genuinely changed, will likely never receive the apology he deserves for being suspected. The hot tub incident from his past still casts a long shadow over his reputation, making it difficult for people to trust him despite his efforts at redemption. It's a bitter irony that when people needed to believe in his change the most, they jumped to the conclusion that he was guilty of something he didn't do. This revelation brings into focus the real danger that Stephanie faces. Owen Kent, the man she hoped was gone from her life forever, has returned with a singular obsession to make Stephanie his, no matter the cost. Understanding Owen Kent, the gardener, the informant, and the obsessed stalker. To fully understand the threat that Owen poses to Stephanie, it's important to remember exactly who Owen Kent is and why his reappearance is so terrifying. Owen didn't come into Stephanie's life by chance. Years ago, when he first appeared in Salem as a gardener, he was secretly working as an informant for the DiMera family, one of Salem's most powerful and ruthless families. The DiMeras, locked in their ongoing bitter feud with the Kyriakis family, hired Owen to carry out a kidnapping. Their target was Stephanie Johnson, a member of the Kyriakis clan through her family connections. Owen was given a mission: kidnap Stephanie as part of the DiMera's revenge plot against the Kyriakis family. But something crucial happened during this kidnapping. Owen, who was supposed to be nothing more than a hired criminal carrying out orders, developed genuine romantic feelings for Stephanie. What started as a job became something far more personal and dangerous, an obsession. When Stephanie was eventually rescued by a combination of loyal friends and family members, including her then boyfriend Philip Kyriakis, Brady Black, and Melanie Jonas, Owen was finally arrested. Justice seemed to prevail. Owen was taken into custody, and it appeared that Stephanie's ordeal was over. The criminal justice system would handle him, and he would spend years behind bars, far away from Stephanie and everyone she loved. But fate had other plans. During the transport to prison, the van carrying Owen was hijacked. Owen escaped. He vanished from Salem and from everyone's lives. For years, Stephanie lived with the trauma of that experience. She struggled with the knowledge that the man who had kidnapped her, the man who had held her captive, was out there somewhere in the world. The psychological impact of that trauma never fully disappeared, even as she tried to move forward with her life. The setup: Stephanie's success creates the perfect storm. In recent years, Stephanie has achieved something remarkable. She's become a published author, establishing herself as a writer of mystery and thriller novels. Her books have attracted attention, and her face has become increasingly visible in public, splashed across book covers, featured in promotional materials, and celebrated in literary circles. She's gained a level of fame and recognition that she never imagined possible. This is exactly the scenario that seems to have drawn Owen out of whatever hiding place he's been occupying. For years, Owen has likely been watching Stephanie from a distance, nursing his obsession, feeding his fantasy that somehow, someday, they could be together. But as long as Stephanie remained relatively unknown, relatively invisible to the world, Owen could maintain his delusion. He could tell himself stories about who Stephanie was and what she might feel for him. Now, with Stephanie's books in bookstores and her image everywhere, Owen's world has shifted. He can see that Stephanie has built a successful life without him. She's in a relationship with Alex Kyriakis. She's focused on her career. She's moved on completely. This reality has shattered whatever fantasy Owen has been living in, and it's pushed him to act. The return of Owen represents the collision of Stephanie's past trauma with her present success. The very thing that has made her happy and fulfilled her literary success has inadvertently drawn back the person who caused her greatest pain. The attempts on Alex Kyriakis removing the obstacle. Owen's plan is clear: eliminate the competition. As long as Alex Kyriakis remains in Stephanie's life, Owen believes he has no chance with her. Therefore, Alex must be removed from the equation. This is where Owen's obsession transforms into something far more sinister and dangerous. On Halloween night, Owen made his first attempt on Alex's life. He tried to stab him, fully intending to kill him. However, Alex managed to escape, and Owen only succeeded in cutting his jacket. It was a near miss, a terrifying close call that could easily have ended in tragedy. But Owen didn't give up. His obsession was too strong, his determination too fierce. When the stabbing didn't work, Owen adapted his strategy. He began poisoning Alex's soda, attempting to accomplish through toxins what he couldn't accomplish with a blade. This is the behavior of a deeply disturbed individual, someone willing to commit murder, someone calculating enough to try multiple methods, and someone patient enough to wait for the right opportunity. Owen is not an impulsive criminal. He's methodical, focused, and utterly devoted to his goal. The evidence connecting Owen to these crimes is mounting. The timeline fits. His knowledge of Stephanie's movements, her hotel stay during the book tour, her daily routines, all of this suggests someone who has been watching her closely, studying her patterns. The black gloves, the threatening letters, the poisoning attempt, the stabbing attempt, they all point back to one person, Owen Kent. Life imitating art. When Stephanie's books become her reality, there's an eerie and almost prophetic element to what's happening with Stephanie. In recent conversations, even supernatural elements of the show have suggested this dark turn. Susan Banks, a character known for her strange psychic insights and mystical abilities, warned Stephanie that her no-murder mystery novel was going to come true in real life. This warning seemed cryptic and perhaps merely the product of Susan's eccentric personality. But now, as events unfold in Salem, those words take on a chilling new meaning. Stephanie's books are murder mystery stories about danger, intrigue, and deadly obsessions. And now, in a terrifying twist of fate, her own life is beginning to mirror the plots she's written. The real-life kidnapping, the attempts on Alex's life, the stalking campaign, these are the building blocks of a genuine thriller unfolding in Salem. Even the business side of this situation carries a dark irony. Kate Roberts and Maggie Horton Kyriakis have recently expressed concern about the sales numbers for Stephanie's latest book. The market has been soft, and despite her literary talent, her newest work hasn't been performing as well as hoped. Sales have been disappointing, and the question of how to revitalize reader interest has been on people's minds. But if the events unfolding in Salem continue on their current trajectory, if Stephanie's kidnapping becomes a public spectacle, if her real-life battle for survival against an obsessed stalker becomes known, it's quite possible that book sales could skyrocket. The irony is bittersweet and deeply troubling. The very trauma that Stephanie is experiencing could transform her from a moderately successful author into a famous one. Her real-life nightmare could become a marketing phenomenon. Life truly does imitate art in Salem, and in the most terrible way possible. What lies ahead? Stephanie in mortal danger. As Owen Kent's plans unfold, Stephanie finds herself in genuine danger. This isn't a case of simple harassment or even standard stalking. This is a man who has already attempted murder, who has poisoned another person, and who has successfully kidnapped his victim. This is a man operating without rational constraints, driven by an obsession that has festered for years. The stakes have never been higher for Stephanie Johnson. Her survival may depend on whether Steve can find her in time, whether the Salem Police Department can piece together the evidence connecting Owen to his crimes, and whether her loved ones can rally to her defense. The man she thought was safely locked away has returned, and he's more dangerous than ever. Owen Kent represents every victim's worst nightmare of return of past trauma, the realization that justice wasn't final, and the understanding that the person who hurt you is still out there, still obsessed, still dangerous. For Stephanie, the next few weeks will determine whether she can overcome this threat, or whether her successful new life will be destroyed by the ghost of her past. The question that haunts Salem right now is simple but profound. Will Stephanie escape Owen's clutches? Will Owen finally be captured and permanently removed from her life? Or will this obsession end in tragedy? The answers to these questions will shape Stephanie's future and will determine the ultimate cost of her literary success. As viewers watch this drama unfold, they're witnessing not just a soap opera storyline, but a deeply human tragedy, story of a talented woman whose achievement and visibility have drawn back the one person she most feared. The one person who once stole her freedom and is now willing to kill to possess her completely.